Bum 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 bum. Hey Star Wars fans, it's your friend Dominic Tringali here with another issue of the D'Agostini weekly build kit for the Millennium Falcon, published once every week. In each issue you get a number of components to assemble a one-for-one prop replica of the Millennium Falcon model used on the filming of The Empire Strikes Back, and this little magazine insert that explains how to put those pieces together, and also some little backstory about little things about the universe, mainly about the Millennium Falcon, but all things really. So each issue after the first is €10.99. I got one issue free so far, so this issue and the issues that came before it bring the grand total to €267.26. Alright, so let's just dive right into this thing and see what we find. So first things first, we have this Starship fact file. We're talking about the Medical Frigate Redemption, a Nebulon B frigate. So I found it interesting that the Nebulon B frigates were originally Empire ships that were captured by the Alliance. I imagine there's a number of those, and if they could get their hands on a Star Destroyer, I'm sure they would love that. But anyway, it talks about how the ship was converted over from being an escort ship to being a medical ship. It still had some offensive capabilities, but mostly it was to treat hundreds of wounded, 700 wounded at once, a number of surgeries, back to tanks. So it was a vital asset to the Rebel Alliance, and they are obviously on the Redemption when they shot this scene right here after Luke gets his hand cut off and Lando and Chewbacca leave to go try to track down Han Solo, who had been frozen in carbonite. Spoilers! So yeah, the model was actually 50 centimeters by 247 centimeters by 99 centimeters. So it was a pretty big model for sure. And then we go back to Coruscant, specifically to the Coruscant Underworld. More fact files about the planet. I don't know if these are the same that we saw before. Actually, I think there's some new stuff here. So it kind of fleshes out Coruscant a little bit more. Just talking about the underworld and how, as it's very dystopic, how as the towers went up and the city got taller and taller, the people at the lower levels essentially were pushed into a life of poverty and crime, and there's really no way out. They have policing droids going around, but that doesn't do very much, and there's a number of parasites that get into the wiring and also eat concrete. So wholeheartedly, it would seem that the Coruscant Underworld is a really terrible place to live. You don't want to get there. I assume, again, this is one of those things that we found out more about Coruscant when we watched the Clone Wars and or the Rebel series. So hopefully I'll get to watch those and give you guys my opinion. And then we had this article, which I was really excited about when it came, but I read the whole thing and it was kind of disappointing because it talks about hyperdrive, and I thought maybe they'd finally explain what the class system was, but the only thing they do is they explain that class 0.0 represents infinite speed, and I guess infinite speed would be impossible, but 0.5 is approaching infinite, so I don't know exactly what that means. But then they talk about how most military classes are locked in at 1 and 2, and that's a military class, and to have a ship with that fast of a hyperdrive is actually illegal to manufacture or to modify your ship up to that speed. And usually civilian craft tend to have 3s, 4s, or 5s, and auxiliary drives being like 10s and 12s. So, and the auxiliary hyperdrives are used as a backup in case your first one blows. You can limp to the next place. But the thing is I assume you still need a motivator, a working motivator, to actually even get your backup hyperdrive to work, because that would be a plot hole in The Empire Strikes Back, that they couldn't get to hyperdrive because their first drive was down. But won't they have a backup that works? Or do they only have one motivator? Doesn't each hyperdrive have a motivator? I don't know. So these are questions I can't. And then they show you what the hyperdrive looks like. But again, I would have liked some explanation of how hyperspace exactly works in comparison to stellar body distances. So how many light years per hour or per second are you going in hyperdrive. So I guess that's just all I really want to know, and why it counts down instead of up, because higher classes would be better. Anyway, so part bag number 26. So in this bag we'll find out hopefully what this jig will look like when I've put it all together. So let's open this bag up and see what we find inside. So we got another piece of the jig, but I looked at the instructions and I'm actually not assembling any jig today. I guess with the next issue I'll actually be assembling a jig, hopefully, because I'm tired of having my lower frame just hanging around. I'd like to have it have some support. Then we have another piece of framing, which I'll put with the other piece because we're not using that today. Another piece of hull. Again, I'm not fixing the hull yet, so I'll put that with the other pieces. This belongs to the jig, and some screws. Don't need those. So all I'm working with today is these three pieces. So it's going to be another quick issue. Let's go ahead and assemble these together. Well, let's take a look at the diagram here first. So it looks like I have this lower piece, this upper piece, and I'm going to take those pieces that I got in the last issue, which are right here. This one is going to go like that. This one's going to go like that. This one's going to go here, and this one is going to go here. So I'll go ahead and assemble those together and show you what it looks like when I'm all finished. So this is what it looks like when it's all finished. As you can see, it looks like it's a full tunnel. And I believe this is the passageway they take to get to the heavy laser cannons that are mounted on the top and bottom of the Millennium Falcon. This other piece I'm not actually using today, so I'll put that with the other pieces and hopefully I'll be using it relatively soon. So issue 26, I built this bad boy. As you can see, it's the passageway. This is all put together. It only took me 2 issues, which I guess is an improvement. I believe this is the passageway which leads from the corridor into the heavy lasers, so we'll see eventually, I assume. Issue 27, I'll be getting another piece of jig, so I'll have 6 pieces of jig, and I'm hoping that means I'll finally get jiggy with it and assemble those 6 pieces of jig together and support my lower structure. Speaking of the structure, it looks like I got some frame, some hull pieces, the other piece of that strut, so I'll be able to put, I think in the next issue, these 3 pieces together, make my lower framing a little bit larger and sturdier. It looks like I get this angled piece, which I'll be screwing the floor I got from issue 26 into, and it looks like some padding, which will go probably on the side walls of that eventually. So issue 27 looks pretty interesting, and hopefully it'll be one of those issues that really takes a little bit more time. So guys, show the show a little love. Go ahead and leave a comment down below for the question of the day, which is, can you please explain hyperdrives to me? I don't know if there's anywhere I can read about how hyperdrive works in the Star Wars universe. Show the channel some love also by clicking the subscribe button, checking out our other 25 episodes we've done so far about this one. And guys, hit the like button and share it, and share it. I'll be seeing you in a week for issue 27. Take care.